North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris, great to have you with us this morning, not under these circumstances and not talking about what we're about to discuss. So this is a crime that should not have happened. This man was out on cashless bail. He had more than a dozen prior arrests. Just want to get your initial reaction to what seems like another grim result of soft on crime policies.
Well, you're exactly right. And thank you for inviting me to be with you this morning. Listen, when you look at what happened to Irina Zarutsky and recognize that here was a young 23-year-old woman who left a war-ravaged Ukraine and made her way to Charlotte, and then for her to get on a train at 10 o'clock, just a little before 10, actually at night, and to really just sit down, as you see in the video, with her phone, and then to be attacked within just a couple of minutes by a man that, to your point, should have never been on the streets of Charlotte. When you look at the rap sheet of this guy, even his own mother has said that he should have not been walking around the community. We've got a real breakdown. There's so many different levels that we could talk about of the breakdown of where things went wrong. But it's a serious situation that, again, just brings all of America to recognize that crime is a major issue here in this country.
Yeah, to that point, Congressman, I mean, your state's Democrat governor, Josh Stein, isn't blaming it on crime. He's blaming it on a lack of police. He said on X, we need more cops on the beat to keep people safe. That's what my budget calls for. More funding to hire more trained police. Police arrested this guy at least 14 times. It doesn't seem like the police are the problem here. It was judges and cashless bail and all of the other woke Democrat policies that are taking over in North Carolina.
Well, you're exactly right. And this guy had been, to your point, had been arrested 14 times. He spent 5 years in prison, and he came out. And then as recently as January was making calls to 911. And listen, nobody is questioning that this guy has some mental health issues. They seem to be real. And yet the reality is, if we don't have a way of keeping people incarcerated, and a judge should have known in January that his violent criminal background, and for them to just simply let him back out on the streets is just unforgivable at this point. And a 23-year-old girl has lost her life because of that kind of lax leadership from our judiciary. And listen, the fact that this story has been out there for several weeks and the media has not been picking up on it, has not been covering it because it just didn't seem to fit their narrative, then we really need to wake up and see what is happening to us.
Yeah, and you mentioned, the media not covering it until now, and now CNN specifically has basically been pressured to at least talk about it. But here is the spin that they put on this murder. Take a listen to this.
Horrific new video of a Ukrainian refugee's murder caught on camera. It is absolutely horrific. Trump is now seizing on this to push his nationwide crackdown.
Right. So they had to bring up Donald Trump in regards to this tragic murder. And then you look at other online publications like Axios publishing a headline that read, "Stabbing video fuels MAGA's crime message." What do you make of this kind of messaging after such a horrific act?
Well, again, this is just the media doing what they do. But I will say this. The reality is it ought to cause all of us to open our eyes and see that when President Trump talks about restoring law and order to our major metropolitan areas, we need to listen. And he is having amazing success right here in Washington, D.C. He's almost made an example or a model out of what has happened here in this city. And you look at the more than 2,000 arrests, you look at the number of illegal guns that have been seized. I understand even missing children have been rescued in the midst of all of these things. So Washington, with what the president has done, has been a priority. And I think that if the messages don't get out to these major cities across the country, like Chicago, like New Orleans, like other areas that we've been talking about, then we're going to be missing out on a real opportunity.
No, you're right about that.
Congressman Mark Harris, thank you for joining us this morning.
Information. Truth is freedom. is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.